Was there a formal report written?
No.
Or a formal interview conducted of you?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. Tell us when you wrote your report about what happened at the scene.
I didn't.
You didn't write a report?
About the scene that day at the scene?
Correct, about this investigation.
I only did the metadata report. I did not write a report at the scene.
Oh,
You
really?
Never, the fact is you never wrote any report about what happened at the scene, correct?
Correct.
John, he would basically have to like be flipping in the air, hitting his head on the asphalt, and then just kept propelling forward. And it doesn't physics, folks. What about the basement, buddy? That's where the altercation took place, not the kitchen. Forget the kitchen. Why does he have a permanent whelp look on his face? Like, I'm trying, Your Honor, I'm trying. I don't like these questions. Very Irish mafioso of you, Gallagher. Does this guy listen to himself? What he's saying? Like, does he really believe his own BS? You and your Gucci tie. Did Jennifer McCabe buy that for you? Did you see that look by Karen's like, you gotta be kidding me. You and I both know that's not true, Alan. Because of FAA regulations, they couldn't fly a drone 100 feet above the house? You have got to be kidding me.
So certainly you're not excusing away the idea that you didn't memorialize your conduct because you were too busy fighting for someone's life. That's not what you're saying.
No, definitely not what I'm saying. Brian Albert, the homeowner, answered the door.
Michael Proctor, you know that name?
I do.
Who's Michael Proctor?
He was one of the troopers assigned to investigate the case.
As a matter of fact, he was the lead investigator.
Did Sergeant Lank walk in with you?
He did.
Did he stay in that living area?
No, he went to the kitchen area and sat down with Jen McCabe.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Buckle Up, It's the Law with Larry Forman. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel before you forget. Now, folks, today we're going to be doing Lieutenant Paul Gallagher. He's going to come in two parts, today and tomorrow, followed by The Shoe on Sunday. Right now, real Larry is in trial. Hi, Larry. I hope you're winning. As I'm recording this the night before, but you guys get to enjoy it today. So, today at 4 p.m. right now, and at 7 p.m. in 3 hours, there's going to be another, the final Trooper Paul video. So without further ado, I bring you Gallagher. Direct, very briefly, the important pieces, his lies and machinations, followed by his cross-examination. Let's go!
When you were looking around the area that was pointed out to you as where John O'Keefe was found, did you expand across the front lawn into the street during your search?
No, we didn't, with the exception of uncovering the 6-foot asphalt berm.
Did you say 6 foot or is it?
Excuse me, 6-inch.
What's a berm?
It's it's basically a curbing, but it's made of asphalt.
Why did you clear that piece?
Wanted to see, we were trying to find out why John was having a medical issue, and we didn't know if he could have tripped over a curbing or what turned out to be an asphalt berm and possibly hit his head.
After you returned to the Canton Police Department, did you receive any information? Or...
Wait a minute. Is Rock McAlbert going to make his first appearance in this trial? Hit his head on a... Do you understand? Like, I just realized something, because actually Trooper Paul is coming next. Think about it. Trooper Paul says he was propelled into the air. He flew basically into the grass, which is complete nonsense. The car would have been completely obliterated into high heaven if that happened. It wouldn't just be like, ooh, broken taillight. Magic. Anyway, John would have... He would basically have to, like, be flipping in the air, hitting his head on the asphalt, and then just kept propelling forward. And it physics. It doesn't physics, folks. It doesn't math. What is going on?
Have a reason to return back to Fairview?
Yes, Sergeant Lank got a phone call that Jen McCabe had more information.
And where did you understand Mrs. McCabe was?
At 34 Fairview.
Did you go back to 34 Fairview?
I did.
Did you go with anybody?
I went with Sergeant Lank.
Did you travel together or separate?
Together.
When you got back to 34 Fairview, outside, what did you do?
We parked in the driveway. We walked up, and next to the garage, there's a side door. I don't know if we rang the bell or knocked, but Brian Albert, the homeowner, answered the door.
At this point, did you have any understanding that this would later be a crime scene?
I did, yes.
What happened?
Can
How
you-
did you come to that conclusion?
Oh, not at that time.
Oh, not at that time?
No,
Okay.
not at that time.
When you went into the house, what part of the house did you go into?
I went into the room. It's adjacent to the kitchen, and I stood there with Brian Albert.
You met with Brian Albert?
Brian Albert answered the door and let us into the house.
Did you understand what his relationship was to that house?
He was the homeowner.
Did Sergeant Lank walk in with you?
He did.
Did he stay in that living area?
No, he went to the kitchen area and sat down with Jen McCabe.
Did you see anybody else in the kitchen area with Mrs. McCabe and Sergeant Lank?
There were people in the kitchen area. There was nobody with Sergeant Lank or Miss McCabe.
Could you hear their conversation?
No.
Were you speaking to Mr. Albert? Did you take the time to make observations of him?
Yes.
Did you speak to him?
Yes.
Did he speak to you?
Yes.
Did you get a chance to look around that living area at the
Sure.
items?
I didn't look around, just with my eyes.
Did you get to see that area?
I did.
Did you see anything broken or looked out of place?
No, nothing.
Anything that caused you any type of concern?
Nothing.
When you looked towards the kitchen, did you see anything that looked different?
What about the basement, buddy? That's where the altercation took place, not the kitchen. Forget the kitchen. Stop misleading the jury, Hank.
Or suspicious in any way?
Nothing.
Was the interaction, did it cause you any alarm or concerns?
No.
When you heard that the state police was then going to get involved in the investigation, what does Canton do when the state police takes over an investigation?
Well, it was based off of a conversation I had with my chief in the detective sergeant's office.
Was there a decision about Canton's involvement in the ongoing investigation?
There was.
What was that decision?
That we should recuse ourselves from any further investigative interviews.
And why was that?
Because our best
Bias.
detective, his name was Kevin Albert, and he was the brother of the homeowner.
Yeah.
And I didn't want any potential bias, whether unconscious or subjective, to be perceived.
Yeah, so why did Higgins go to Canton PD at 3 o'clock in the morning the night of the murder? Oh, I'm sorry, I meant the car accident. And where was Karen Reed's SUV taken? Canton Police Department. Hello? Perceived bias. No, we don't want any, but sure, why not? We can keep going.
By the O'Keefe's, by the O'Keefe family.
And so at some point, was the defendant's Lexus brought to the Canton Police Department?
It was.
Was it put in a particular area at the Canton Police Department?
It was.
What area?
The Sally Port.
What's a Sally Port?
Sally Port is where, when we have an arrest, we bring our prisoners in. It's basically a extra large garage. It has 4 doors. They're numbered 1, 2, 3, and 4. We typically go in door 4 and pull towards door 3. Door 4 is lowered, and then prisoners are walked into the booking area, which is also secure. The exterior doors to the Sally Port can only be opened by the dispatch council.
When crime scene services came to look at the car, was that the same day, the 29th, or later time?
No, it was February 1st.
All right. So now that was the direct. And I kept it very, very short intentionally because I don't want to spend too much time on Hank. We only wanted to cover just a few minutes to make sure that you all understand why we're about to do the piece that we're about to do on cross-examination of Gallagher. Watch this.
Given the fact that you were the ranking officer, the way that it works in a police department is everybody sort of reports up the chain of command, correct?
That is correct.
You were involved in not only the exposing of some of that blood byproduct, but also exposing the glass with the leaf blower, correct?
That is correct.
You were responsible for utilizing.
Oh God, the leaf blower. Oh my God, I completely forgot about the. Hey, let's just contaminate the whole scene with the leaf blower because, well, evidence schmevidence. We already know she didn't do it, but you know we gotta plant our evidence. By the way, don't forget to subscribe to the video and like it and whatever. I don't know. The leaf blower. I just can't. I'm sorry, my brain stopped working. Who brings a leaf blower to a crime scene and uses it to blow stuff away? My God. That's not incompetence. That's criminal behavior by the investigating officers. the shock and horror of it all. Leave a comment below if you think using a leaf blower on a crime scene is appropriate.
You chose a leaf blower at the time, correct?
I did, yes.
There was also, I'm guessing, there was also some use of your hands and or the gloved hands with some others to recover some of the items.
Yeah, I didn't use my hands.
How did you get the glass into a bag?
That was Detective Sergeant Lank.
Somebody had to pick it up, right?
Correct.
That's what I mean. The use of hands to manipulate some of the evidence, correct?
Yeah, I apologize. I didn't understand that question.
That's okay.
I thought you were speaking about me.
Probably my...
I love how Jackson's choice of words, to manipulate some of the evidence. It's actually, it's a real term. When you manipulate something, you just move it around, collect it, manipulating the evidence. But it's just the vernacular, the nomenclature, the jargon that Jackson chose to use, manipulating the evidence. It just reminds the jury that this is all done by Canton PD, that they're the ones who manipulated. Oh, I love it. I love the subtlety. It's only a lawyer can truly appreciate the vernacular used by another lawyer, I guess. I don't know. Maybe let me know in the comments below if you guys appreciate it too.
Isn't it true that you weren't interviewed in this case with regard to anything having to do with this case until April 3rd, 2024, correct?
Yes, we can call it an interview. It's when I met with the prosecutor, yes.
Michael Proctor, you know that name.
I do.
Who's Michael Proctor?
He was one of the troopers assigned to investigate the case.
As a matter of fact, he was the lead investigator of the case, correct?
I don't know.
Oh, come on. They're going to be doing the same thing they did last trial. He was one of the troopers assigned to the case. No, he was the lead investigator. Maybe. I have no personal knowledge of that. No, sir. No, I've never. You know, Gallagher, you lying sack of...
If he was lead or trooper mechanic, I don't know.
As you sit here, you don't know that Michael Proctor was the lead case agent for...
I know he was one of them, yes.
Okay. He may have had a partner, correct?
That is correct, yes.
But it's not unusual to have a lead case agent, person who's responsible for most of the search warrant writing and the memorialization of documentation of evidence collection and the movement of evidence and booking into evidence, things like that.
That is correct, but I don't know anything about who wrote their affidavits or who logged their evidence in. I wouldn't know that.
You're also familiar with Yuri Buchanan, correct?
I know who he is.
You're also familiar with Lieutenant Tully?
I know, yes.
They're all Massachusetts State Police officers, correct?
Yes, they all are.
Did
Yes.
Michael Proctor interview you before April of 2024?
He did not.
Did Yuri Buchanan interview you before April of 2024?
No, he did
Did
not.
Lieutenant Tully interview you before April of 2024?
No, he did not.
Did anybody else from the Canton Police Department, your deputy chief or the chief, interview?
Why does he have a permanent whelp look on his face? Like, I'm trying, Your Honor, I'm trying. I don't like these questions. Very, very Irish mafioso of you, Gallagher. I did not. No, I did not. I did not. I did do that, yes. No, I did not.
Interview you formally about your conduct and responsibilities before April of 2024?
I don't understand that question.
Did anybody at Canton PD, separating out Massachusetts State Police,
Correct.
did you sit down at Canton PD and provide an interview with anybody at Canton PD about your conduct at the scene?
What do you mean by conduct?
Going to the scene, collecting evidence, securing evidence, transporting evidence, booking evidence, those kinds of things. Your conduct at the scene, sir.
Yeah, I briefed my superiors, yes.
Okay, other than briefing, was there a formal report written
No.
or a formal interview conducted of you?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. Tell us when you wrote your report about what happened at the scene, memorializing what you did at the scene.
I didn't.
You didn't write a report?
About the scene that day at the scene?
Correct, about this investigation.
I only did the metadata report. I did not write a report at the scene.
Oh,
You
really?
never, the fact is you never wrote any report about what happened at the scene, correct?
Correct.
You didn't memorialize that in any formal way on Canton PD letterhead to describe what you did and how you did it at the scene.
No.
Because why? Because that would be proper, but you chose not to do it because you're in cahoots with the McAlberts. Thank you. No further questions. Like, literally, I know there's a lot more. And like I said, we're going to be doing 2 videos on Gallagher. Man, this guy's going to need a lawyer by the time that this thing is over. Oh my God. You know who else may need a lawyer? You may need a lawyer. Have you been hurt in a car accident, a truck accident, or dog bite, or anything like that? Any injuries as a result of someone else's screw up? Call us, 1-844-774-HURT. There's the number. There it is. 1-844-774-HURT. Anyway, let's get back to the video.
Normally when you report to a scene as a first responder, you would be expected to write a report about that, whatever that conduct is.
I'm not the supervisor, no.
What if you're the ranking person at a scene that ultimately turns into a homicide scene?
Well, we don't know it's a homicide scene at this time. We don't even know there's a crime committed at this time. My
Understood.
responsibilities are to make sure reports are written, not to necessarily write the reports myself. I'm the supervisor. It's
Although-
my job to make sure reports are written, evidence is logged, those types of things.
Under ordinary circumstances, you would respond to a scene as a supervisor, and you would oversee what other people are doing, what your
That's
subordinate-
correct.
Is this guy
Can I
for real?
finish?
Sure,
I don't want to talk over each other.
I apologize.
You would want a supervisor oversee what your subordinate officers, whatever he or she might be doing or they might be doing, you're going to oversee that. But they're the ones actually conducting the investigation or picking up evidence or doing the interviews, writing those things of that nature.
Correct. Detective Sergeant Lake's investigation, yes.
So in that circumstance, you wouldn't be expected to write a report because all of that conduct is memorialized by others subordinate to the supervisor, correct?
Correct.
But in this case, quite the opposite happened. You were the one that was in the video utilizing the leaf blower, correct?
That's correct.
You were the one that actually exposed the drinking glass, correct?
Correct, yes.
You noted the drinking glass and actually called somebody else over to take a look at it, correct?
That's correct.
You directed someone, Sergeant Lang, to pick up the drinking glass and recover it as a potential piece of evidence, correct?
That is correct.
You noted the blood or the coagulation of blood in and around that area, correct?
That is correct.
You noted where
And despite all of this, and this is where it's all headed, despite all of this, you're like, report schmeport. I don't need it.
you believe the drinking glass was, in other words, what location, if there were grid coordinates, where it would be, correct?
Correct.
And you instructed others to transport that important evidence back to Canton PD to have it booked, correct?
That is correct.
You also secured the plastic containers in which to recover the blood.
That is
right?
correct.
You also directed someone to get a bag to put the plastic containers in and ultimately transport it, correct?
That is
The
correct.
stop
So
and
you would
shop
agree
bags.
with me, Mr. Gallagher, that in this circumstance,
No.
you were the
No.
centerpiece
No, I
of the
wasn't.
recovery of evidence.
No.
The investigation
No.
as it was at that time in that limited context.
No, stop.
You were the centerpiece of what was
Stop
happening
pointing the
next,
finger at me.
correct?
And I made sure it was documented by Detective Sergeant Lang.
But
By
you didn't
my
find
subordinate.
it important enough to write a report yourself.
Yeah.
I think that's poor misrepresentation. There's a person fighting for their life. It was very important.
When you were there at the scene at what time was it, by the way?
God.
Got there shortly after 7.
Okay, you knew that person who was
Does this guy listen to himself? What he's saying? Like, does he really believe his own BS? That's what I want to know. That's what I'm curious about. Like, really, dude? Really? That's your answer? You and your Gucci tie. Mm-hmm. Did Jennifer McCabe buy that for you, along with Kate Peterson's couch? You know what I'm saying?
life had already been transported and was in good care, as best care we can provide at Good Samaritan
I'm
Hospital,
sorry, I meant Catherine Peters. You get it.
correct?
That is correct.
So certainly you're not excusing away the idea that you didn't memorialize your conduct because you were too busy fighting for someone's life. That's not what you're saying.
No, it definitely is not what I'm
Okay.
saying.
Obviously, reporting to a scene and supervising a scene is one thing, but actually gathering evidence is a whole next level. You would agree with that?
Sure.
Because, just to put a fine point on it, responding to a scene as a supervisor, you want to make sure everybody's doing their duty, but the officer or officers who, for instance, uncover, let's say it's a knife or a gun or some weapon or something like that, actually documenting and picking up that.
By the way, did I ever mention that we've recovered several $1 million for our clients? I don't know if I ever talked about that on my channel. Anyway, I will start talking about that more too.
Evidence and handling it in an appropriate way, that is all highly, highly technical. It's very important to get it right and memorialize it all, correct?
That is correct.
That's why you're highly trained to memorialize and report everything that you do in that regard in a report that can later be used forensically, in other words, in a courtroom setting, to recreate as best you can with as much detail as you can exactly what you did and how you did it and where it was done, correct?
Sure. Yes.
Officer Lank wrote a report in this case.
Sure.
Did Officer Mullaney?
I believe he did, yes.
Did Officer Seraph?
Yes.
Officer Good? Sergeant
Yes.
Good?
Yes.
But you did not.
I did not.
Who was the first officer to find any potential physical evidence at the scene, be it blood or glass?
I can't answer that. It was not me. I was not the first thing that was spotted was the pink spotting, not the glass.
Okay. Who was the first person to see the glass?
I think it was myself as I uncovered it with the leaf blower.
One of the important things that we've talked about, Mr. Gallagher, is documenting the details of evidence recovery, not just the fact that something was recovered, correct?
That's correct.
So you'd want to know what time of day it was recovered, correct?
Sure.
You'd want to know who was there and who was around when it was recovered, correct?
Yes.
You'd want to know what the item is,
And you didn't do
the
any
condition
of
of the item, right?
Yes.
You
You'd
just
also want to know
said,
exactly
"Blank, do this."
where it's recovered, correct?
Yes.
In other words, as best you can to pinpoint the exact location where an item was found. That could play a huge role in any investigation, be it criminal or otherwise.
It could.
And speaking of criminal, folks, this right here is criminal. This is not incompetence. This is criminal behavior by Canton PD, just so you know, because they're actively participating in a cover-up of a murder.
Did you diagram or draw a diagram back at Canton PD or
I did
out
not.
at the scene
No.
about where that glass was found?
No, I did no reports or diagrams.
Did you diagram exactly where you recovered the blood spots that you did recover?
No.
Did you at least, if you didn't write a report, did you at least take notes on a pad about what you were doing?
Yeah, conditions weren't pretty hard to take notes at that time, but I did not take notes, no.
So can you describe what you did
Oh my God!
to preserve the crime scene? I'm
Nothing.
Sorry, to preserve the scene.
Directed
because at
length.
that time you said you did not know if it was a crime scene. Is that right?
That's correct.
What did you do in
I mean,
terms of actually preserving the scene for later investigation? What steps did you take?
For later, can you explain later investigation?
So let me take a step back.
Sure.
Have you been trained to preserve scenes?
Yes.
No.
What's the reason that you want to preserve a scene? What does that mean?
Collect evidence.
Collect evidence and make sure nothing is disturbed, correct?
Correct.
Civilians can't kind of traipse through or walk through evidence, correct?
That's correct.
You've heard the phrase forensically, evidence in, evidence out. Someone traipses through a crime scene, you bring
Correct.
evidence with you, and you take it back out with you on your shoes or on your feet or your breath or your saliva, whatever it might be.
Very familiar with that, yes.
Preserving the scene is best efforts, it's best practices to make sure that nothing is moved, touched, messed with in any way, correct?
That's correct, and that's what was done here.
What did you
Right.
do to preserve that scene?
There were no civilians ever to trample through. Were rescue efforts made on Mr. O'Keefe? Yes, that's priority. So rescue workers do go into any type of scene. Medical life-saving measures come first. Once all apparatus was
Oh,
off scene,
I did you see that look by Karen's like, you gotta be kidding me. You and I both know that's not true, Alan. And Gallagher knows it's not true either. It's just he has to lie. He has to protect his people.
the original officers put out crime scene tape to mark an area. And later, it was documented, it was photographed, and evidence was collected.
And it was searched by you, at least initially with the leaf blower.
Correct.
Okay. So you were interested in the area that, by the way, I want to clear this up, make sure I'm not mistaken. You described for Mr. Brennan basically where Mr. O'Keefe's body was, correct?
Yes, yes,
You never saw his body in situ. You never saw his body in place.
that is correct.
You were told by Sergeant Lang generally where his body was, correct?
Yes, and Sergeant Lank actually never saw Mr. O'Keefe either.
That's my next question.
Okay,
Sergeant Lang,
and Mr. Good, and Sergeant Good as well.
right. Sergeant Lang never saw John O'Keefe actually in place, correct?
That is correct.
So you're receiving information from Sergeant Lank that he did not have personal knowledge of, and then you're providing that information later to crime scene investigators who are trying to establish a diagram or some sort of a chart about where that evidence was, where the drinking glass was, where his body was, correct?
No, I never spoke to anybody.
Wait, what?
In that manner.
You literally just said you were directing Lank, and now it's like, no. Why would I do that? Because that would be proper. Wow. The level of criminality of these people is unmatched.
About that.
Didn't you ultimately go out to the scene along with others at Massachusetts State Police when they had a drone overhead?
No, you're mistaken. I can clarify it for you if you wish.
Sure.
So on February 1st, after the execution of the warrant, they wanted to go down to the scene. It was Trooper Proctor and somebody from the cars team. I'm not sure of the name.
Wait.
Once they got-
Did he accidentally slip up for a second? Did you guys catch that, or am I hallucinating? Let me listen to it again. Watch his body language. Watch his pause when he says "go down." It's almost like as if he almost wanted to say basement, but he stopped short. Please, chat. Let me know in the comments below if I'm hallucinating. Holy crap! We may have a slip up, a Freudian slip. Let's listen again, and I'm going to slow it down to about 0.7.
Execution of the warrant, they wanted to go down to the scene. It was Trooper Proctor and somebody from the cars.
It's almost like he wanted to say they wanted to go down to the scene, to the basement. I mean, the outside of the house. I don't know. Tell me if I'm wrong, chat. I don't wanna be that guy who's like, you know, oh. I'm serious. It just feels there's something there. I feel like there's something there. I could be completely wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong, please. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video.
Team, I'm not sure of the name. Once they got down there, I did show them where I was shown John O'Keefe was. They did want to put up a drone, but they could not do it because they were too close to Norwood Airport and because of FAA regulations. Okay. And that was the last of my involvement with that. I hope that clarifies things for you.
Because of FAA regulations, they couldn't fly a drone 100 feet above the house? You have got to be kidding me. No one is saying go up 1,000 feet. Just fly it above, like right over the house. FAA regulations prohibit you from flying 100 feet above the house? Liar!
The drone, I'm interested in the first part, which was you accompanied Trooper Proctor to the scene, correct?
Correct.
There were other members of cars, CARS.
I think there was one. Crash accident reconstruction section, I'm assuming.
Okay, so it's a forensic, a member of MSP who does forensic diagrams, correct?
I would say. I don't know if they do diagrams. I don't know what they do.
Or reconstruction of some sort.
Sure, reconstruction of some sort.
So you were there to help provide information about where Mr. O'Keefe's body was found, correct?
And be a Canton police officer present in case any neighbors had come out.
So you were there to help provide information about, or at least you did provide information to them about where Mr. O'Keefe's body was found.
Oh, sure, yes.
Except you didn't see Mr. O'Keefe's body, did you?
No, I did not.
So that was a guess on your part.
It was what I was shown. It's the information I had.
Yeah.
By the way, I also want to point out, I don't know if you guys noticed, his eyes keep darting. Like he can't look you straight in the eye. He's constantly like jumping around. If you notice, this entire cross-examination, he's darting. On direct, he was not darting as much. On cross, because he's being deceptive. He's looking for answers rather than telling the truth. Oh, it's so obvious. It's incredible.
Information you were told by Sergeant Lang, correct?
Yes.
Who also didn't see John O'Keefe in place on the ground at 34 Fairview, correct?
That is correct, yes.
So his would be a guess also, correct?
Well, we're going backwards. So he was told by Sergeant Good and et cetera. So it was information passed along, which is what police officers do.
Right. But the police officer that was out there at the scene, who was helping the reconstructionist establish the formal report, and the CARS report was an officer who not only didn't see where John O'Keefe's body was, you got information about where John's body was from someone who didn't see it either. Correct?
You have to go
Caught.
back to the beginning. I didn't understand the beginning.
Of course you did.
It's very
I'll try it again.
Because it's very accusatory and you don't like
The
it.
point is, Mr. Gallagher, you happen to be tapped as the person who is going to assist the CARS folks, the
Yeah.
MSP, in creating their CARS,
No.
ultimately their
Yeah.
CARS report.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Isn't it true that you accompanied Trooper Proctor and members of the CARS unit to document Fairview Road and the scene of the incident?
Yeah, I thought I explained it could not be done.
Okay.
So
I'm not
I
asking
wasn't,
you-
I only went to show them where Mr. O'Keefe was and in case any neighbors came out.
Oh
I wasn't
my-
there to assist in any documentation.
What?
You were there.
What? No way. Oh my God. No way. And folks, we are going to continue with this guy. I am not finished with him yet. We are going to have one more video on him tomorrow. So tune in at 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. I will premiere another one of his videos on Saturday, May 10th. And after that, it'll be Mother's Day. So we have another video. We're going to talk about the shoe. Trooper Connor Keefe and the infamous shoe. Oh my God. Is it the same shoe? Is it the wrong shoe? Is it a different shoe? What do you guys think? We'll talk about it more on Sunday. Bye, everybody.